So, today we will be continuing with the second unit, and in this, as we have already studied the effective stress concept, we will be now moving on to the further things, that is the pore water pressure and the effective stress. So, let us move on here. As I have already told you, this effective stress principle, wherein I have told you about the total stress, what does it comprise of, and the second thing, that is what are the two components of the total stress, which are the pore water pressure and the effective stress, wherein the total stress can be measured and the pore water pressure can also be measured by the use of the piezometer. But this effective stress here, see this one, effective stress is not a measurable quantity as such. We have to determine this effective stress and pore water, and with the help of these two things we will be determining the effective stress value. So, how do we calculate the total stress? That we have already discussed, that it is self weight of the soil above that section, above the concerned section that we are trying to understand here. Then the second thing is the overburden pressure. If any surcharge or extra load is applied, then that portion will be covered here as the total stress. So, when we go on for the different cases that we will be analyzing here, we will be seeing what is the overburden pressure and how will we consider the self weight of soil above that section. So, when we talk about this pore water pressure, it is the pressure which is contained in the voids. So, you already know that soil is a three phase system wherein it contains solids, and the voids in there, it contains, the voids are the empty spaces which contain solids and which contains the air and water. So, if this is the solid, if this is the soil here, and it is the water and this is the air. So, this water here, when it is a homogeneous medium, this soil water will be exerting some pore water pressure. So, what is that pressure? Let us say the energy exerted by the pressure, exerted by the water is represented as H. So, what we can say about this H, that is this pore water pressure by the unit weight of water, that is H, this is the energy of the pore water. So, U is equal to H into gamma W, that U will be the pore water pressure here, that is the pressure which will be exerted by the water in the voids. Why it is called the neutral pressure? Because it does not result in the mobilization of shear strength, because it will not be drawing into some shear strength in the soil, because this will not even take part in bringing about some change in shear strength or increasing the shear strength. So, we will be seeing what is the component which increases the shear strength in the soil mass. So, see here we will now talk about this effective stress, that is the intergranular pressure, which is the pressure which is being transmitted by particle to particle contact in the soil mass. So, particle to particle contact, let us say this is a soil solid here. So, each particle will have some at this contact point, there will be some value here. So, at this contact surface, what is the pressure being exerted by each grain to the different grain. So, when the forces act in here, this tends to force the soil solids to come in contact with each other. So, they try to come in contact with each other. If see here, there is one contact, this is one contact surface. So, what happens? Now, they will be both trying to exert some pressure on each other. Now, the pore water pressure will be playing some effect in this thing. So, when this effective stress takes place, then effective stress increases, it also results in some changes in the engineering properties, that is the increase in, let us say, shear strength or increase in the bearing capacity of the soil, so or the increase in the degree of denseness of the soil mass. Since this stress is being transferred in the soil by grain to grain contact, it is termed as intergranular pressure. Inter means between the granular. Granular means between the grains, intergranular pressure. It is this stress which is responsible for mobilization of shear strength in the soil, unlike the pore water pressure, which did not result in mobilization of shear strength. Now, understand here, let us consider this entire, from this portion to this portion, this entire soil, and if the water table is up to this level. So, this part is dried one and this is one is saturated soil. So, this one will be having some different unit weight and this portion will be having some different unit weight. At this section, if we consider, and if we take this section and we zoom it and zoom it. So, if we get this XX, so at this point there would be some soil solids. Now, these soil solids would be having some area of contact like this. This is the area of contact. So, here the forces will be trying to balance out each other, or they will be trying to exert some force on each other. The soil solids are trying to exert some force on each other. Now, see here also there is the point of contact, this is the point of contact, this is the point of contact, but if we are considering this XX section. So, we will be taking this XX section and we will be discussing how the effective stress is being generated at this point. So, here also this point of contact, this is also the point of contact, but we are studying on what line? On the this section, that is XX. Now, some load P is being applied, that is there. Also understand one thing I will tell you here, that what is the pore water pressure? The water which is exerted by the pore fluid. What is in the voids? Voids contain water and water exerts some kind of pressure. How can you measure that pressure? That is by the piezometer. So, if you apply and insert a piezometer at this section, say XX, the water will rise to what amount? To the amount wherein the water table is present. So, you can see here what U will be the pore water pressure, it will be the height H2 to which it has risen this H2 into the unit weight of water, that is H2 into gamma W. Now, considering the interparticle forces that we have seen in the last diagram, which are random in magnitude and direction. See here that this is in some direction and this might be in some direction. So, these are very random in direction. Let us say this is the T and this is the normal N. So, now considering these forces which are acting in a random manner, which are random in magnitude and the direction. So, the effective stress, if we talk about the effective stress, it will be equal to the sum of all the components within that area, that we took the soil sample here and we took the this X and X section. So, here all the normal components, that is the vertical ones, and this cross sectional area was A. So, summation of all the normal forces sigma n dash by A divided by A, that will give you the stress, that will give you the effective normal stress, because it will be in somewhat vertical direction, divided by all the forces divided by the cross sectional area. So, it will give you the vertical effective normal stress. Also understand here that the total normal stress, total means the sum total which we are talking about the entire soil. So, the soil was exerted by soil, if we take this soil, it was having some P force. So, it was applied some P force and the cross sectional area was this A. So, the total stress would have been sigma is equal to P upon A. Since the pore water pressure can act only over the void area, because water is where? Water is it like flowing each and every direction? Yes, but they are actually in the inside the voids. So, the hydrostatic force will be equal to U into A of W. If we consider, if we say, let us say that AW is the area of the pores. So, the pore water pressure will be acting on those pores, on the pores area. So, the hydrostatic force will be U into AW, that is the area on which the pore water pressure is being exerted. So, when we talk about this, for equilibrium in the direction normal to the plane x x, that is if we take this plane x x, so normal to this plane either from x direction or from y direction, sorry, either from top direction or from bottom direction. So, P is equal to sigma n dash and the hydrostatic force, the water, that will also be acting. So, if we divide this equation by A, that is the cross sectional area A, so we get sigma n dash by A plus u into A w by A, where A w, you know, the pore water pressure is exerted on some area, on its own area, on the pores area. So, P is equal to sigma n dash plus, we have already studied this in the previous slide, and then this P by A is equal to sigma n dash by A plus u into A w by A. So, you already know P by A is nothing but the total stress, and sigma n dash by A is what? Sigma dash, that is the effective stress value, and we keep it as it is here. Now, understand one thing, that when we talk about this, see here this soil. So, when we are considering the entire area, it is this very much large area, okay. But if we see the contact area, this is very much very small, very small values. See, this is just a point here, and if we talk about this is also just a point here. So, these are contact areas and these are very much small as compared to this A. So, AC is very much smaller than A, you already understood this thing, because the contact area is very much small. So, AC is very much less than A. So, values of A and AW would be very much close, because AC is what, tending to almost 0. So, we can also write here that sigma is equal to sigma dash plus u, that is simply AW by A will be 1, and if tends to 0, if it is tending to 0, so A is equal to AW, so A by AW will be equal to 1, we can say this thing. Okay. So, sigma is equal to sigma dash plus u. So, here sigma dash does not represent the true contact stress between the particles, since it would having much higher value, since AC value is very much small here, which, and this, like, you can easily know this value A, because it is the soil cross sectional area, but can you find about the soil solid here, and then can you measure each and every contact area? No, you cannot, because it is practically not possible, because you do not know the orientation of each and every solid particle. You cannot, like, you cannot count the hair of your head at that. Similarly, you cannot also count the contact area. So, it is very much small here. So, that is why practically we will be using the capital A. Now, we will be further taking 5 cases here, 4 or 5 cases here, and we will be understanding how to find out the total stress, the pore water pressure and the effective stress value. So, understand here that if we take this soil mass, this here, this section 2.2 to section 3.3, and the groundwater table is at this level, and let us say this will be the ground surface, this section 2.2 will be the ground surface, and the water has been filled up to the above level, that is 1.1. So, understand here that the very first thing we will be analyzing these different sections. At section 1.1 we take a point A, then at section this 2.2 we take a point B, and then at section C, that is section 3.3 we take a point C. We will see that what is the value of total stress here, what is the value of pore water pressure here, and what is the value of effective stress here at these 3 sections. So, see here, that total stress is 0 at the very first section. Can you tell me how? Can you think how? Now see here that what is the total stress? Total stress we discussed, it had two components, that is the very first one was the overburden pressure. Can you see any load applying here? No, there is no load as such. So, no extra load is here. If no extra load is here, so surcharge is 0. Second thing, see here that there is no surcharge here, and is there, if we are considering this section, is there soil above this section? No, there is no soil above this section. So, the total stress comes out to be 0. If we apply, if we consider a piezometer here, so till what height the water will rise? It will not rise beyond this level also. So, the height of the piezometer is simply this much. So, no rise is there. So, pore water pressure will also be equal to 0. So, we already know that sigma dash effective stress is equal to sigma minus u, that is equal to 0. We simply subtract this and we get effective stress as 0. If we consider the second section, see here second section, it is a ground surface and it is having some water here. Now understand the total stress. Is there any surcharge here? No, there is no surcharge, but this water, this the weight above this section. So, the weight above this section will be that of this water section, because this water will be applying some force on this layer, this second layer. So, let us say this is Z1 height and the unit weight of water is what? Gamma W. So, this water here in this Z1 height, this water will be exerting some force on the soil. So, that will be Z1 into gamma W. And when we talk about the pore water pressure, what happens? How to measure the pore water pressure? We will simply be inserting the piezometer at this second section. When we insert a piezometer, let us say this piezometer is here, and when the piezometer is inserted, the water level rises to this point. So, if the water level rises to this point, so what is the pore water pressure? That is the height, that is the energy, that is this Z1 into gamma W. So, it is the same as the pore water pressure is same as the effective stress here. So, the total value of the effective stress will be this minus this, sigma minus u, that is sigma prime. When we talk about the section third, this section here, so here this soil portion is there and then this portion is containing some water here, this between 1 and 2. So, when we talk about this section, so understand above this section, so Z2 into this gamma of this soil, but what will be the gamma? This will be gamma saturated value, because the soil is completely saturated, completely submerged here. When the soil is completely submerged, so the voids would have been filled with water. If the voids would have been filled with water, so the unit weight will be gamma saturated value. So, we take Z2 into gamma saturated, that is the section between 2 and 3 section, and take the very first one, this 1 to 2 here. So, it is the water which exerting some force on this layer. So, Z1 into gamma W, that is here. Now, if we place a piezometer here at this section, we get the rise till the water table level till this one. So, the total height is Z1 plus Z2, Z2 here, and then this is height Z1, Z1 plus Z2 into gamma W. When we subtract it, we come out to be Z2 gamma dash. So, how it is Z2 gamma dash? You already know this thing, that when we subtract, let us say at section 3, see at section 3, what will be the values if we sigma minus u? What are the values here? See, that is Z1 gamma W plus Z2 gamma saturated minus the u value. U value is what? Z1 into gamma W minus Z2 into gamma W. So, if we consider this Z2 gamma saturated and Z2 gamma W, So, you know, when we take common Z2, we get this here will be cancelled out, but when we take this thing Z2 gamma saturated minus Z2 gamma W, see here it will be Z2 gamma saturated minus gamma W. So, it will be Z2 into, you already know when we subtract the gamma W value from gamma saturated, we get the gamma submerged value, and you already know that the soil is submerged at this section. So, the effective stress would have been due to the submerged weight of the soil mass. So, this clearly shows this thing which I have said here. Now, considering another section, the soil mass which contains some surcharge. So, understand here surcharge. So, this will be playing a role in total stress, because I have told you already that total stress is due to the self weight of the soil above that section and also due to the surcharge. So, see here some surcharge is being applied, this is the value Q. Let us take this section. It is known that at this section the groundwater table is available at section 2.2. So, and the section 3.3 we have taken a point C. The entire section from the ground surface to this CC to this 3.3 section is the soil. So, when we take this section, so above this section there is no soil mass. So, the total stress will be alone due to Q. So, that we have taken this. The pore water pressure is there any groundwater table level here? No, there is no groundwater table here. If we place a piezometer, there will be no rise shown in the piezometer. So, the pore water pressure will be also equal to 0, because there is no water. So, water will not be exerting any force over the soil solids. So, the pore water pressure will be 0. Similarly, if we subtract this, we get effective stress, that is equal to Q. So, at this section effective stress will be equal to Q. Now, considering the section 2.2, this second section, understand here that the groundwater table is at this level, and the soil above this will be something having value gamma, and here it will be soil will be completely saturated. Now, taking this section, when we consider this section, the total stress that will be equal to this Q, the surcharge. So, we have taken this thing, and also this Z1 height is there. So, Z1 into the gamma value, because we do not know the saturation or exact value of the saturation, that is S is equal to what, if S is equal to 0.5 or S is equal to 1. So, we do not know that value. So, sigma is equal to Q plus Z1, this height will be this height, this soil mass, the above this section, above this 2.2 section there is a soil mass which will be exerting some weight over the soil. So, that will be equal to Z1 into gamma. If we place a piezometer here, because the water table is at this level only and not above this level, so the piezometer will show no rise. So, the pore with water pressure will be 0. This pore water pressure is 0, but always remember this thing, that the water in the voids is not 0, water is present in the voids, but there is not sufficient energy for this water to dissipate out by itself. So, this U is equal to 0 here. Now, understand this thing, sigma dash is equal to Q plus Z1 into gamma, we subtract this thing here. Now, understand this third section here, that if we take this third section, if we place a piezometer, the water rises to this here. So, we can simply say the pore water pressure will be Z2 into gamma W, because this is the height Z2 and this is the water unit weight, that is gamma W. When you talk about the total stress, that will be Q, very first thing, and then Z1 into gamma, because of the section between 1.1 and 2.2 section, the soil mass which is having unit weight of gamma, and then this Z2 into gamma saturated. So, U comes out to be Z2 into gamma W. When we subtract these two things, we get Q plus Z1 into gamma plus Z2 into gamma saturated. So, that is the effective stress that is there in section 3.3. So, we note that as we move on from this top to this bottom, what happens? The effective stress value here increases, and at this point it was something known as only Q. So, this is how the shear strength gets mobilized, shear strength gets increased as we move on to the lower depth. If we take another case here, soil mass with capillary fringe, understand here that if there is capillary fringe, if there is this groundwater table, so the soil solids tend to act as the soil solids or the gaps. If we say this, there is soil solid, and if this space is very very small, so what happens, they tend to suck the water to slightly upward level. So, the water tending to upward. So, these soil solids tend to hold these water in the capillary fringes here. If we have taken this one section, then this second section, then this third section, this height is Z2 here, this is Z1 here, and the water by capillary fringe has this one. If there is no value given, we will be considering this portion, the capillary rise portion, to be completely saturated. If there is some value given, we will be considering that one as S is equal to 0.5, and then we will be calculating the value of the unit weight there. Okay, then this third portion here, see, this is the third section, and there is one section 4, which we have considered as a distance x from the ground surface. This is one is x. So, see here, what is the value of total stress? Total stress will be 0, because there is no surcharge above this 1 section, and also apart from the surcharge there is no soil mass which would have been exerting some pressure here. So, total stress will be 0. When we talk about this U, pore water, when we talk about this capillary fringe, what happens, these soil solids, if they are like if they are trying to hold up, if they are trying to pull up, so the water comes in tension here. Water is not simply coming by some other force, it is being held up, it is being held up by the soil solids. So, we count it as the negative tension, that is Z1 into gamma W. So, because the capillary water is in tension, so it will be having a negative sign because it is not going by itself. So, the pore water pressure will be Z1 into gamma W. When we talk about this sigma dash, that is Z1 into gamma W when we subtract this portion. So, we will be continuing this in the subsequent section, and we will be covering the effective stress principle and numerical for this thing in the later sections. Thank you.